702 Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Coming up on the show today, the link between tow truck industry, drugs and police exposed at the Madlanga Commission, an alleged gangster in court for the murder of 2 cops in Reiger Park. The DA has reiterated its call for body cameras for KZN cops. South Africa seeks reimbursement for its repatriation bill, and we'll bring you the latest in the Hope Dealer series. This one is about an inner city school doing incredible things. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Really interesting testimony coming out of the Madlanga Commission today. Not just about that link between the tow truck industry and drug dealers and the police, but also about this apparent hit squad and extrajudicial killings taking place in KwaZulu-Natal. We'll unpack more about that. Does anything still surprise you that comes out of the Madlanga Commission? Do you still go, wow, I didn't see that coming? It just sounds like every day there's something new, something alarming that emerges. Speaking of which, I'm watching on ENCA at the moment as a man is appearing in court, an alleged gangster, for the murder of 2 police officers in Reiger Park. That shooting taking place earlier this week. And according to reports, it looks like he was out on bail at the time of that shooting. And this is always a big concern. How do people get bail? How does the system not work when you have a suspect with a pending criminal case who has now killed 2 police officers and 2 other women, bystanders as well? He was out on bail. He has a pending criminal case, and yet we see him recommit this kind of murder. So very, very worrying indeed. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567. So let's start at the Madlanga Commission, where the witness on the stand today is Mr. Len John, Deputy Director for Investigations at IPID, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate in KwaZulu-Natal. Evidence leaders Matthew Chaskelson, SC, and Advocate Mpilo Sikakane. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, is there for us and joins us now. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Some pretty shocking evidence coming out today about extrajudicial killings. Tell us about that.
Certainly, Mandy. I mean, you would know that over the past 2-3 years, there's been so many questions that have been raised about the KZN police and them seemingly shooting first and asking questions later. These are some of the allegations that we're hearing today at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, certainly with the IDAC official, Len John, telling us that they have been investigating KZN police for allegations of extrajudicial killings. I mean, IPID is handling a case, more than 300 cases of KZN police who have shot people that they believe to be criminals. And the question that he asks, Mandy, is that until when will the KwaZulu-Natal police be allowed to continue shooting and asking questions later? Because certainly in some cases they have and has been proved that some of the people that were shot were not actually people who are suspected criminals. And so that is what we're hearing today. And it seems that KZN police might have to answer to the allegations that they are shooting first and asking questions later. In fact, he says KZN police seemingly want to cover up some of the cases because IPID is always the last to find out about some of the cases. You'll find the journalists, reporters, and people who are informed first when police get into a shootout with suspected criminals. But IPID, which actually has to investigate shootouts between police and members of the public or suspected criminals, is always the last to find out. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Since 2023, there has been a surge in extrajudicial killings, which IPID has noted with great concern. Between 1st of April 2023 and 31st of May 2026, IPID investigated over 300 cases, of which 77 cases involved the deaths of 149 people as a result of police action by the task team. Now, Commissioner, we dealt with over 300 cases, but I zoned in on the 77 cases, which is in the attached list. In these 77 cases, these shootings were committed by members of the task teams. And in this shooting, there were 149 people that were killed.
IPID raising concerns there about these extrajudicial killings. It's so interesting because the public narrative is so with the police in KZN on this. Heaven help me if I say anything negative about this. And this is the concern that's being raised at the Madlanga Commission. Alpha, we've also heard about this nexus between tow truck drivers and tow truck companies, the drug industry and police. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what the IPID investigator, Len John, tells the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is that there's a very weird relationship and concerning relationship, really, between KZN police and the tow truck industry. Really, it's a link, Mandy, that I never thought I would ever hear or let alone talk about. But what he's saying is that the tow truck industry has this weird relationship with police, and in most of the times where there are car accidents on the roads, the police have their specific tow truck drivers that they call, come to the scene, and then they share the commission from that. And so he says because of this weird relationship, the tow truck industry has become so vulnerable to also being used by criminal syndicates, saying that what they found as IPID is that drugs are being transported in the province mostly using these tow truck and the tow truck drivers. And so it's a link really that we never thought we would hear at the Madlanga Commission. Quite shocking really that tow trucks in the province most of the times are found to be transporting drugs. Let's take a listen to what he had to say in this regard.
We also have identified that with the tow trucks, you'll get police officers who will give jobs to certain tow trucks in order to get you can call it a payment from them, more like an incentive. You call a tow truck and they will pay you like a commission. So police are very much involved in the tow truck industry. They have their friends in the tow truck. They know the tow truck that they can communicate with, and because of that, we see that the tow truck industry has a free rein when it comes to crime, because we believe that the tow truck industry, the tow trucks are used for transporting drugs. I'm not saying that all the tow trucks, but in many of the cases, the tow truck industry and the drug industry go together.
Evidence earlier by the IPID investigator, Len John. That doesn't surprise me at all. I'm surprised that Alpha said he was surprised by that. But this is an entrenched thing. You see that nexus between police officers, the drug industry, and some tow truck drivers with kickbacks and transportation of drugs. On the WhatsApp line, hi, Mandy. I knew you were going to talk about the KZN police services. It's your favorite story, but you know what? Provincial Commissioner is going to come out on the other side clean. And you'd rather protect criminals than police protecting themselves. It's not about protecting criminals. It is about making sure the police are doing their jobs properly. And we cannot have a situation where there are extrajudicial killings. If they are defending themselves, that's absolutely fine. I know there's a lot of support for KZN police and their approach. I completely respect that. But extrajudicial killings are where it gets concerning. Anyway, let's listen in now to Len John, who is giving evidence live at the Madlanga Commission.
It's the thin one.
So 1434 and going over the page to 1435. Just the top two entries on 1435.
Okay, I'm with you.
Can you confirm that those cash deposits reflected on 1434 and going over the page to 1435 exceed in total 430,000?
From the 20 9th of August.
which is the top of 143.
That's correct. Right up till the 10th of November.
Then if you go back to 69.2.
On the 13th of December 2022, Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender, Warrant Officer Thanasekaran Sivan Naidu, together with other members of the task team, went to the home of Mr. Gregory Loftus looking for Bevan Loftus. The police officers cited Bele Cares 23 of 2, 2022 and Bele Cares 75 of 12, 2021 in relation to their search.
Now, we're going to go to these dockets now.
So that's evidence currently underway at the Madlanga Commission. Len John, Deputy Director for Investigations at IPID, currently on the stand.
702.
702.
Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
Well, let's stay on this theme. The DA has called for police officers to wear body cameras amid shootouts between suspected criminals and police in KZN. That issue of extrajudicial killings being raised at the Madlanga Commission today. Mzamo Billy is the DA member on the Select Committee on Security and Justice who joins us now. Mzamo, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. This is a call that the DA has been making since 2024. Why is that?
Good afternoon, Mandy, and good afternoon to your listeners, and thank you for inviting us. The DA has been pushing this matter beyond 2024, and you would know that it's incredibly important in a constitutional democracy. I was listening to you and your listeners that we hold police accountable, but at the same time we ensure that our constitutional democracy is upheld. You would know that KwaZulu-Natal is facing an extraordinary violent crime crisis, and police officers are confronting criminals who are armed, and they have to defend themselves, and that is the reality. But in a constitutional democracy, the same police cannot operate on a choice between fighting criminals, and also killing them at the same time. We do need to find a balance. So, in our view, every police shooting must be lawful. It must be independently investigated, and it must be capable of being tested against any objective evidence. So this is precisely why we have been pushing for Parliament, for the Minister of Police, previous ministers, for these body-worn cameras to be realized in our country. And unfortunately, this has been promised over many years now. Recently, Minister Mchunu had promised that this was going to be implemented in the last financial year in April. But again, that implementation did not materialize. And hence, we are now making a revived call to the acting minister, who has also grappled with this issue, as the DA has been very consistent in making sure that the promises that have been made with regards to this are realized, not only to protect our police officers, but also to protect the integrity and the work of the police and maintain that trust between the public and the police.
It's interesting now that we're hearing these suggestions of extrajudicial killings coming out, potential hit squad in KwaZulu-Natal, all of this coming out at the Madlanga Commission. Why do you think it is, Mzamo, that there is so much public support for the police, so much resistance to any kind of accountability to the police?
Look, I think the reality is people are fed up with crime, and as a result, people are easily, they easily see the killing of suspect as a solution, and the reality, that is not the solution. And in fact, we should be concerned when an operation ends in death. We should not have to choose between the police version and speculation on social media. There should rather be an objective evidence that's being presented. Now, I think that the situation we have in KwaZulu-Natal is the police seemingly using a similar version that the suspect shot first, But at the same time, it really puts us, especially as lawmakers, as as people that are really wanting our police to be as effective, to make arrests, to prosecute successfully, to ensure that people are imprisoned, because we don't believe that just killing suspects is a solution to all of this. But at the same time, we do appreciate the fact that there are really armed, dangerous suspects. But if I were to just appraise you, KwaZulu-Natal has had some of the highest suspects killed in the past couple of years. As early as April this year, the province had already been sitting on over 300 suspects killed in the last financial year, which is extremely high compared to the national average. So that tells you that the approach is rather very very targeted, very deliberate to an extent, and whether that is something that IPID, which is tasked, which is our police watchdog, is able to investigate and provide those objective, findings against such incidents, is really another question, because we do also understand that IPID is incredibly undercapacitated. They don't have enough officers in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. They've only got 3 in the entire province. They don't have enough investigators in the province. But also beyond that, we've also heard of allegations of IPID investigators being intimidated, being being really compromised in doing their work. So you could, to a large extent, be really concerned about what is going on in KZN, and I'm glad that it's a matter that is getting some attention, because some of us who've worked on this, we've even come to see that there is a certain attitude that is adopted, even by the media, for that matter, in really covering matters that have some negativity towards the police in KwaZulu-Natal. You can see that this is something that is being accepted by a lot of people, and we say that it is not the most responsible thing to do. We've got to ensure that our officers are protected, but also ensure that there is that trust between the public and the police officers.
Mzamo, thank you very much. Mzamo Billy, DA member of the Select Committee on Security and Justice. Thanks for speaking to us. So what do you make of that? Do you think it's a good idea for police officers in KZN specifically to be wearing body cameras? Do you think this will improve the trust relationship, or will it give us an objective perspective of what is happening, or do you think that it will impact on their behavior necessarily? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567.
Good afternoon, Mandy. In response to our government seeking reimbursement for repatriation bill, trust me, we will not get a cent of that money. We are already giving them free healthcare in their undocumented state, and we're not getting reimbursed for that. What makes it worse is some of them are already back in the country. Why would they think that they would fit the bill for repatriation? Ramaphosa has decided that he's going to be Father Christmas for SADC and the so-called frontline state. We ain't getting that money back.
Famous for available staff. Famous for knowledgeable staff. Famous for always helping you with a smile. Now with 10 stores across Gauteng and a new branch in the East Rand in September, our expert staff are here to help you with all your hardware needs. Paint, power tools, gardening, pet care and plumbing. Big on stock. Strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Oh, shame. Do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action, pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Andelix, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
Attention livestock owners. Protect your farm and community from foot and mouth disease. Never move cattle, sheep, goats or pigs without required official documentation. Ensure all animals are legally branded or tattooed. Always follow veterinary quarantine rules. Illegal animal movement spreads disease and destroys livelihoods. Stay informed. Search for FMD Gauteng WhatsApp channel for outbreak updates and state vet details. Brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
On the WhatsApp line, Mzianda says, Mandy, any person who commits a crime using a gun has intentions to kill, and the police need to deal with them in that manner. A response there to the interview that I've just done. Kustas, how's it? Says, if the DA wants to protect criminals, we ain't voting for them anytime soon. We want our police officers protected. We don't have sympathy for criminals. And then JB says, suspects killed in the last financial year, rather unfortunate turn of phrase. And then DeCarlo says, hi Mandy, politicians need to make such comments while being on the same level with us. Let them relinquish their security and experience the level of crime we experience as citizens. Regards, DeCarlo. And then Lesejo says, the things we see. I read once that if you introduce cameras to an environment, people get on their best behavior for about 70 hours. Not a lot. After that, we're going to see some sad videos. I think they should be forced to wear them. I'm pro body cameras. After, if all of them, they're responding to shots, it shouldn't matter whether they're wearing cameras or not. Thank you very much. Lots of reaction there to the reports about extrajudicial killings in KwaZulu-Natal coming out of the Madlanga Commission. As I often say, a lot of support for the police in KZN and the work that they're doing, rightfully so, as long as they are doing it within the law. And then, of course, to the DA's call for body cameras. Let's take a listen to some of those voice notes.
Afternoon, Mandy. This IPIT guy is talking nonsense, especially for a senior person at IPIT. I mean, it's standard practice that all tow truck guys will give you a commission or something when you call them to a scene. That's how they operate countrywide, not only in KZN. So for him to come up and say this about KZN, come on, man. They must look for other things. If they want to discredit the provincial commissioner and his team, they must look for credible things, not tow trucks.
Afternoon, Mandy. Mandy, this person you are busy with there is not okay in his head. Shumani, seriously, the guy is not okay in his head. You are saying that by any means you must just sit in a hail of bullets and then you wait until you get these people arrested. Come on, man. This guy is dreaming. You think we are in a movie here? If the thugs wants to survive, they will shoot and kill. They will do as much as they want to do, and then they will kill the police. Then how are the police protected? I want to know. Because now this guy is saying that they must arrest and prosecute while police are dying. Come on, man. Yo.
Thank you very much. Lots of reaction. Appreciate those voice notes. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Police in KZN have come under scrutiny at the Madlanga Commission with officers accused of carrying out extrajudicial killings. IPID head of investigations in the province, Len John, says police are being investigated in connection with the murders of hundreds of people. The killings are alleged to have been carried out by specialized task teams during shootouts with people suspected of being involved in criminal activities. The Southern African Development Community is calling for the region to become more self-reliant. SADC Executive Secretary Elias Mahosi says the region can no longer ignore the need to drive its development agenda on its own terms. Mahosi has been speaking at the SADC Council of Ministers meeting taking place in Durban. And the city of Cape Town received more than 3,300 distress calls to its helpline, including reports of domestic violence incidents over the Women's Day long weekend. Majority of the calls were linked to cases of physical assault as well as domestic violence. The calls came through the Metro's Public Emergency Communication Centre. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon. I'm Mawanda Mateza. All Blacks coach Dave Rennie is pleased with the progress his team has made since taking over at the start of the year. New Zealand made it 2 wins from 2 on the greatest rivalry tour with a pleasing performance in a 54-0 win over the Sharks last night, and they're still unbeaten under Rennie. He says they need to be faster off the mark, though, if they're to have any chance against the Springboks, who they play in the first of 4 tests in 10 days' time.
Yeah, it's just getting more footy inside this group. So, we've now had 5 games this season, and I think we've got a lot better understanding of the game we're trying to play. We've got a lot more people who have got good time, and so we shared the load a bit, but there's really good competition for spots. And I think that's really important heading into the test in a couple of weeks.
The All Blacks' next fixture on the tour is against the Bulls at Loftus Versfeld on Saturday. The Betway Premiership continues this evening with 4 matches taking place. Reigning champions Orlando Pirates have a tricky encounter away to Amazulu, who beat Stellenbosch FC last week. Kaizer Chiefs are hoping to bounce back from their shock defeat in the MTN 8 when they host Sekhukhune United, while Milford FC will play Siwelele and Durban City take on Golden Arrows in a KZN derby. All of those games will kick off at 7:30. And then the women's AFCON semi-finals take centre stage tonight. The first game is at 7, where Algeria will play the tournament's surprise package Malawi. And then at 10 p.m, hosts Morocco will be up against Cameroon. Mawanda Mateza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
In Lovenstein, there's been an accident on the N1 after Plattekloof causing traffic. In Cape Town, there are roadworks on the M5 South at Beckley Ramp. Lane is obstructed. There is no delays. Meanwhile, in Roodepoort, there's been an accident on the N1 North before 14th Avenue, slowing down traffic. In Sandton, there's slow-moving traffic on Rivonia Road between Marion Street and Grayston Drive. Also, in Midrand, there's been an accident on the N1 North before New Road, slowing down traffic from Ellendale Road. Traffic lights are out in Edenvale at Modderfontein and Van Riebeck, in Fourways at Cedar and Witkoppen, in Fourways at Cedar and Fourways Boulevard, and also in Fourways at Church and Witkoppen. For any other traffic updates, head over to our WhatsApp line on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 92. I had to rescue my cousin's neighbor's cat from a tree. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
We're giving you millions of reasons to celebrate with our selection of Lucky Millions Lotto draws. You could claim major jackpots when you pick numbers from thousands of daily draws. Choose numbers on UK 49s, Euro Millions, and lots more from just £5 per line. Enjoy more chances and more ways to win, all in one place. Grab your chance to celebrate extraordinary riches when you play Lucky Millions from Hollywood Bets. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on iStratGo.com. ISTRATGO.com.
The Hope Dealers.
Telling the stories of
People changing the narrative in the city of Joburg.
So every Wednesday at this time on the Midday Report, we drop an episode of the Hope Dealers series in which I tell the stories of those people and organizations that are changing the narrative in the city of Joburg. I've spent weeks witnessing the passion, the collective action being taken by individuals and communities that are working to restore and rejuvenate Josie. This week, I'm visiting the phenomenal City Kids School, an NPC in the heart of Joburg's inner city. It's a school that was started in 2008 by property developer Rennie Plitt and his company AFCO Holdings. They were developing properties in the CBD and they realized that all those people moving into the CBD needed somewhere to send their kids, and that good communities need good schools to thrive. And what you see today is spacious classrooms, play and creative spaces, smaller class sizes, STEM, robotics, the arts, and it was just phenomenal. And City Kids has proven what is possible when education is done right in South Africa. So take a listen to this episode of The Hope Dealers. My name is Mandy Wiener and I'm telling the stories of the Hope Dealers in Joburg, people who are choosing to change the narrative of the city. And today we're at City Kids, an inner city school in the middle of Joburg, where even in the toughest environment, these children have got the possibility of a better future. In the heart of Joburg's inner city, the buzz of taxis and city streets mingles with the laughter of children. City Kids adds colour, possibility and hope to a landscape often painted in shades of grey. Rennie Plitt is driven by the theory of, if not me, then who? This is the very spirit of a hope dealer, someone who chooses to get involved and make a difference. So, Rennie, take me through the origin story of the school. How did it begin?
Yeah, so we were the original guys that started the conversion of affordable housing in the inner city in 1996. We ran many social upliftment programs in the city. We then got offered this school, which was standing empty at the time.
And this used to be the old Indian school,
This was the
right?
old Indian school built in the 1920s, and across the road, where you can see this old telecom building sticking out across the top, in front of it is the old City and Suburban Post Office. That was the coloured school. We looked at it, and original thinking was, well, we could turn these 9 classrooms into apartments. We decided at that point in 2007 that with this huge density happening in the inner city, we needed to create a place of excellence for inner city disadvantaged children, because
They all needed somewhere to go to school.
they need somewhere to go to school. And if you look at what happened in the city, and to this day now, the private sector has probably delivered about 70,000 housing units into the city into what used to be empty commercial buildings. And if you put one kid into each flat, but some flats have got no kids and others might have three kids in them, but you need 70 new schools. And then you look and say, well, how many schools has government actually built in the last 50 years? And the answer is 0, not 1.
So it started with that building,
Yeah.
9 classrooms.
Yes.
Then you've added on
We've
all
added
over the
on.
place.
Yeah.
You've grown and grown.
We then bought the adjoining factories and created a new hall on top of one of them. This used to be a glass factory. The teachers here have named that Santon. Because Santon, yeah, the old stuff they call Alexander, that's Santon, and the City Babes and City Tots are further down, they call that Clifton, because
Very
that's
nice.
also brand new. So they're naming everything.
So this is the AI robotics class.
Yeah, this interesting enough, this used to be the original hall. Morning.
Hi, good
Hi
morning.
guys, come through. The whole concept here was designed around the concept of Lego. These chairs, they slot into these Lego blocks over here. So this would slide in.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, down here we've got 3D printers that were donated to us. It's interesting, I mean, the computers here were in fact donated to us by GP Boys. So we make do with what we got, but for our purposes they are 100%.
I love that the school is decorated with all of these beautiful murals.
Every year each class has to do a piece of art, typically a piece of art, using recycled materials. And we're also teaching the kids, as much as they're coming from a poor background, there are other responsibilities that they need to develop, and we collect food for one of the animal shelters. And it's amazing, if you look at how much stuff is there coming out of poor homes. It's a belief in the children that they need to play a role in society.
For over 20 years, City Kids has offered children in the inner city of Joburg something rare, and that's the possibility of hope. And the founder, the principal, the entire team here are so filled with passion in everything that they do. I've been blown away at how they're changing the direction of these kids' lives.
I was a very stubborn kid coming into City Kids. I didn't like listening to teachers, but teachers in City Kids put me in shape. I saw that if I don't change now, I won't make it in life.
One of the most things I love about the environment is the people, the new people. I love my teachers, my friends, my classmates. City Kids has helped me just be myself.
Sharon Reynolds is the principal here at City Kids. I sat down with her inside the glass factory that has been rejuvenated into a colourful hall. What do you try and instill in each City Kids kid?
Basically, we believe in every child. And I know it sounds a little cliched, but we really put the child first, and they know that. One of my grade 7 girls, her name is Hope. At the beginning of the year, a new child arrived. She saw him sitting at break on his own, and she said, "Here at City Kids, we don't sit on our own." But this is done without anyone asking her to do it. You just observe it and you see, and those things make me really happy.
What is the big vision for you?
We've started building the high school across the road. That will open this coming January, and that's going to be called City Teens. Then what we've done is we've bought a piece of ground over the road, and again, subject to us finding the funding, that will become an athletics track and a soccer field.
At the moment, the bus company pay rent, so we can sustain that. If we got that field, we would be able to use it for the high school and, you know, have soccer matches and athletics days, because in the meantime we use other people's facilities to go.
You could have sat back and watched the decline of the inner city, but you've chosen to stay involved.
We have to all play a part, do whatever new means, but get out and do something.
And that's the ethos of the school.
If you look at the science Olympiads, the inter-school maths competitions, in most cases we come first or we come second, beating some of the very expensive private schools. The kids are proud of where they are. When they go on school holidays, they can't wait to come back. The parents, the teachers, the children, even the security staff you see wondering, even the taxis outside, they all form part of this family.
If you invest in human beings and you invest in the infrastructure, this could work. If more people were doing that, Joburg would be amazing.
The one thing I've really taken away today is how the school is constantly evolving. They keep adding something different, something more modern, better opportunities. There's plans for an athletics field, and then there's plans for a high school at this site over here that they've taken over. So it's exciting, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter is for City Kids.
City Kids, who shine so bright, let's lift our name like a flame to the light. City Kids, who shine so bright, City Kids, them shine so bright.
Isn't that just so beautiful? That was the latest episode of The Hope Dealers, telling the stories of the people who are changing the narrative in the city of Joburg. And if more people did that, wouldn't it be amazing? Joburg would be amazing. You can go to my social media channels. You can watch the full video on YouTube. You can go to Prime Media Plus, and you can watch that full video documentary on The Hope Dealers. And you can catch last week's episode on Kwalisa as well. We'll be dropping a new episode next week, Wednesday.
Make sure that your life-changing donation goes exactly where it's meant to. With Izinga Assist, you can give with complete confidence because every donation is secure, transparent, and traceable. Funds are safely managed through a dedicated ShopRite Money Market account, and you'll receive clear proof showing the impact of your contribution. Give with trust today at izassist.org. Izinga Assist. Doing good, done better. Proudly supported by Primedia Cares.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. The lady asked me if I'm comfortable with my excess. I said, excess? Well, according to my therapist, I'm apparently a little too comfortable. But sometimes you just need to make sure. You know what I mean? She just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
Unleash extraordinary with the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 256 gig from Vodacom. Get it for just 1,549 Rand per month over 36 months on a 4 gig Red Core plan. Plus, receive an in-store accessory voucher up to the value of 1,500 Rand. Enhance your deal, add 149 Rand extra per month, and get the new Galaxy Watch 9 eSIM. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12:47 on the Midday Report. Let's get back into some less optimistic, maybe more realistic stories. And I told you at the start of the show that government was seeking reimbursement from various countries after spending 300 million Rand on its repatriation bill. The Border Management Authority saying in Parliament yesterday almost 90,000 people have passed through the country's borders after being repatriated to their countries of origin at a cost of around 300 million Rand. That's 5 times its allocation for deportations. Tulani Mavuso is the Deputy Director General and spokesperson at Home Affairs and joins us now. DDG, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time.
Good afternoon, Mandy, and good afternoon to the listeners.
How are we going to go about trying to reimburse that 300 million Rand from countries like Malawi and Nigeria?
Well, I think just to start the conversation with a clarity that the responsibility of repatriating citizens, like we did with COVID, we would send planes or transport to countries where our citizens were stuck. So similarly, Malawi and Zimbabwe, they were also doing the same, sending, because our job as Home Affairs is not to repatriate, but is to deport any person who's found to be in the country illegally. Now, in this instance, the volumes were quite huge, and these countries were being overwhelmed, and they were running out of money in certain instances. So, but then the people were desperate. So we couldn't then leave people, on the streets, on the pavements where they would be camping. So the decision was taken that we then have to get buses to assist so that they can be able to exit the country. So we will get into the discussion with them to say that how do we then recover some of the costs. Obviously, we will not recover 100%. Because, for an example, the repatriation center that we had to set up in Musina, it's a cost that obviously the South African government had to bear the cost, because we needed to ensure that people do not just exit our ports, but they would exit having been properly processed.
So how does it work in a very practical way? I mean, do we send an invoice to Malawi? How does this work if we've taken on the costs of repatriating their citizens? Is there an expectation or what are the practicalities here?
Well, I think those are still going to be ironed out. I wouldn't want to get into those practicalities, whether we're sending an invoice to pay off whatever that is calculated to be a Malawi cost. So that process will unfold. Obviously, we'll work with the Department of International Relations to ensure that we follow all the diplomatic channels in dealing with that particular matter. But as we have said in the Portfolio Committee, it's a cost that was not supposed to have been actually on us as the department, because ours is to deport, not to repatriate.
Yes. I do see, according to what was said yesterday, that this is 5 times the cost of allocation for deportations. Is this something that could have been anticipated?
No, definitely. Obviously, it's not something that we anticipated. We didn't anticipate that. So that is why we've said that because it was an emergency, we had to obviously to react on the basis of humanitarian grounds, because we couldn't leave people, stuck in the middle of nowhere.
Has this process of repatriations, not deportations, been finalized now, or is this something that the government is going to continue to do?
No, we have actually finalized the scale. The number of the people now that are repatriating are very small. Some of them are doing self-repatriation, but also we are scaling down the facility now in Musina because it was temporary. So very soon, I think the Interministerial Committee on Migration will do an announcement in that regard. But we had actually scaled down the capacity from 20,000 to 1,500 because the numbers were dwindling.
DDG, thank you very much. DDG spokesperson at Home Affairs, Tulani Mavuso, speaking to us there about this plan by government to seek reimbursement from countries like Malawi, like Nigeria. We spent 300 million rand on that repatriation bill. What are your thoughts? Do you think that was money we should have been spending? Do you think we should have tried to get the other countries to deal with it more quickly, more expeditiously? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And do you think we'll actually get any of that money back?
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 55. Is this the right outfit choice for my shape? Ladies, embrace all your beauty this Women's Month. With the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This advert is paid for by the political party concerned.
Ish. I love my hometown, but for too long now, I look around and think we deserve better than this. The water goes off for days, the streets are falling apart, and things never get fixed. Look, I'm not asking for anything fancy. I just want basics to work. And I know they can work because I've seen it where the Democratic Alliance is in charge. I want our town to work for all. So in this election, I'm voting DA.
This advert was paid for by the political party concerned.
Yo! Nothing humbles you like a cold shower.
Happens fast, eh? 1 minute you're living your best life.
Next minute you're questioning everything.
Fair. Here's a quick tip. If your geezer's acting up, don't wait for disaster. Small fixes now save big problems later.
And remember, if you buy cheap, you will shower in the lounge.
We've got loads more tips where that came from.
Quickot, #1 in water heating solutions. Quickot,
add warmth to life.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Sawona, Sis Mandy. Sis Mandy, I like what the DA is trying to do with having body cameras on KZN police. But please, let's not make it only on KZN police. Let's make it a whole countrywide. Let's make it nationally. That all police officials should have body cameras, same as traffic police. Thank you.
Hi, Mandy. And that man is talking all rubbish. Who must die? The police must die, or the criminal must die? The criminal must die. Is a criminal. If he kills the police, there's nothing wrong. But who must die? The police? No. I can't die with a gun on my hip. Nothing. That it won't happen.
Plenty of reaction there to the suggestion from the Democratic Alliance that police in KwaZulu-Natal should be given body cameras, also in light of the fact that we're hearing at the Madlanga Commission today from an IPID investigator about extrajudicial killings in KwaZulu-Natal. On the WhatsApp line, I'd feel much safer, thanks. I'd also feel that the country is much safer for my 20-year-old black child who drives past black at night and thinks his little Bryanston background protects him from police brutality, because in his mind, his friend Troy is no different to him until he gets a beat down. Thanks very much for that one. Zagori says, Mandy, they failed with Nkunu, Adak, Feroz Khan to arrest Mkwanazi, Kumalo and Masamola. Now they're using the useless iPad. Sorry, the horse bolted a long time ago. Armed thugs have no right for life. Shoot to kill these thugs. Thank you very much for all of those messages coming through, responding to that. Well, let's go to KwaZulu-Natal now, not to speak about the police, but rather to speak about the weather, because KZN being hit hard by this cold front that is moving across the country. We saw a number of mountain passes being shut in KZN and in the Eastern Cape. Siboniso Mngadi is the KZN COGTA spokesperson and joins us now. Siboniso, good afternoon to you. What has the impact of this cold front been in KZN?
Good afternoon, Mandy, and the listeners at home. I must say that we haven't seen much of the impact in terms of disruption to human life. We understand that as of yesterday, it stopped snowing in the different parts of the province, particularly in the far south, that is Kokstad areas and the Underback. But we are still experiencing cold, very cold weather, and some of the communities in the Midlands, in Bentley area, Polo to Underback, they experience poor network connection. We are unable to even to communicate with our officials that are currently monitoring the situation there. But we are hoping that it will improve as the snow has stopped in some parts of the province. However, as a department, we continue to exercise vigilance, particularly in informal settlement places that we have identified as high-risk areas. Many people are resorting to the use of open fires like paraffin stove and baula, that we know that they also pose a risk fire that could also lead to the fire disasters. We've been advising and encouraging people to also comply with the safety tips when they do so, because we do not want to this inclement weather leads to another fire disaster as we've seen in the past.
Have you had to deal with any displaced people or moving people out of any kind of dangerous situation?
No, not as yet. We haven't gone to that point. Yesterday there were reports of some families having leaking roof because of their houses were blanketed by the snow. But the local officials, they managed to assist them, but at their home. So we haven't had a situation where we need to relocate people to temporary shelters like schools and community halls.
And in terms of roads, for people who might be traveling, any impact on roads, or everything free flowing?
Everything is free flowing for now. However, we do encourage motorists to exercise extreme caution. The roads still remain wet and slippery, so we must adjust our driving to be suitable for such conditions. So we continue to encourage people not to travel when it's raining, and we only take a necessary trip when the weather is of this nature, so that we minimize the impacts that this inclement weather may have in our lives.
Siboniso, thank you very much. Siboniso Mngadi, KZN COGTA spokesperson, speaking to us there about the situation. Still very, very cold in Joburg. It's bitterly cold. And KwaZulu-Natal obviously experiencing a lot of snowfall, the Eastern Cape as well, as that cold front moves through the country.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. What I do remember is at some point formal visas that are not necessarily a tourist visa. There used to be a requirement back in the days for you to pay repatriation fee every time you get a visa from Home Affairs. I don't know why that stuff stopped, because this would have been a no-brainer.
Hi, Mandy Simapare from Rodipot. I have an idea of we should pay for the repatriation amount. It's those guys that say we are xenophobic. Yeah, those guys who are with illegal immigrants, let them show up. It's a perfect time to shut our mouths up, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those WhatsApp voice notes coming through. Lots of reaction, lots of hot topics today. Police in KZN, extrajudicial killing allegations, the repatriations, who should pay for it. So much to discuss. Thank you for being so engaging and for listening and joining us today. It is 1 o'clock, time for Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
More charges added against alleged Reiger Park cop killer, and Madlanga Commission turns its focus to KZN policing gaps. Good afternoon. We begin with news just in. An alleged gangster accused of killing 2 police officers has now been charged with 2 additional counts of murder. According to police, Reagan Collis has been linked to the murders of 2 women in Reiger Park last week, the very evening when the 2 officers were also killed. Collis appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court today following his arrest earlier this week. Police allege the 23-year-old went on the killing spree while out on bail on separate murder charges. Investigators say they are confident they've built a tight case against him. Hawks spokesperson Katlego Mogale.
We do believe that he was not alone in doing this heinous deed. So we are not ruling out the possibility of other suspects being arrested as well as additional charges as the investigation unfolds.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard allegations that the tow truck industry in KZN is heavily involved in the drug trade. IPID Deputy Director of Investigations in KZN, Len John, is testifying today as the Commission turns its attention to gangs and drug syndicates in the province. He says police have a close relationship with tow truck operators, with some officers allegedly going as far as helping drivers to get clients. John says this has also made the tow truck industry vulnerable to be used by organized crime.
We believe that the tow trucks are used for transporting drugs. I'm not saying that all the tow trucks, but in many of the cases, the tow truck industry and the drug industry go together, hand in hand. We see the tow trucks are being used to transport drugs and to supply drugs.
The Southern African Development Community is calling for the region to become more self-reliant. SADC Executive Secretary Elias Magosi says the region can no longer ignore the need to drive its development agenda on its own terms. Magosi has been speaking at the SADC Council of Ministers meeting taking place in Durban. He says that means SADC countries need to trust each other more and work together